Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Jumping back in the queue after just finishing my previous episode, the game where I lost against Shadow Row. Let's follow him and see how he's doing against main GI. I'm surprised nobody has any thermite cores. Yeah, there we go. Although this isn't really the turn. I guess it is. Yeah, it's a fine turn for it because opponent's gonna be. Yeah, you'll be attacking for 4 or 3, but so like thermite isn't getting perfect value, but it's better than letting your opponent just absorb everything. I gotta say, these Mahars. Like, I don't understand this 11 drone Mahar rush. It should lose against anything, right? But somehow Shadow Row's on 12 drones. And like, not many attackers? I don't get it. I guess he's building another thermite next turn, right? Maybe another ISO, I don't know. Just some Indies. Why is everyone on so few drones? Like, I would have thought with Mahar and Manticore. Well, I don't know if Manticore is such a great argument. But Mahar, at least, is like a good argument for going relatively high econ. Thermite core argues against it, I guess. But you certainly shouldn't go Mahar and low econ, I don't think. I think Shadow Row is definitely winning this one. The Mahars are getting, like, wrecked. They're getting no value at all. I think you should have attacked with the other one, and I don't know, then opponent gets to breach and kill a drone if they want, so that's not so great, maybe. I don't know, it's just a tough spot having bought these Mahars and like knowing they're not going to get value. NG seems good, right? Like, why not? Yeah. And alright, time for the breach-proof transition, huh? Deny that thermite core value. Sure, that prevents you from getting breached for 2 Mahars, I guess. But opponent's actually just gonna kill all your drones because they can handle the stuff you've already built. That's a cool barrier. Shouldn't it be a force field though? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, opponent's just gonna breach and kill your drone anyway, and what did the dollar save you? I guess nothing? Like, you saved the drone, but... Oh. Huh. I guess it... Yeah, it makes sense to click the thermites even though you could breach, because you wouldn't be killing anything good, and you wouldn't even be putting damage on anything good. I think I preferred the thermite play. This is way less comfortable than I thought it would be for Shadow Row. I actually think he might be losing now. I don't know, I guess you have to kill the Mahars. You just have to survive the next ISO wave. And even if you can't, like, you have nearly as many ISOs of your own, right? Yeah, okay. Phew. Catatonic versus Prismata. Or per ISA. I don't know. We got main GI. Base plus 5, 45 seconds. Ooh. I mean, Amparilla is like kind of scary here. It makes it hard to go for Centurion, I think. Like, and Blood Pact supports the Amparilla, importantly. As does Pixie, because you want to get like one wall and then just build Pixies to... Well, I don't know. I guess you want to keep building walls probably, huh? But maybe with Blood Pacts, yeah, you're floating a bunch of reds, you build Blood Pacts instead, and you have blue left over, so you build Pixies. Okay. I think that that is better than, like, going for the Centurion. The Centurion player just doesn't have much going for them, I think. Maybe Lance Tooth, but every second you give to the Amparilla player is a golden gift. So I think I'm not going third NG. Gonna get an Animus and 2 drones, then 2 Tarsiers and 1 more drone, and then like, I'm not sure exactly. It'll depend. We might even consider going Forge first. I don't know about that. Opponent shocked by the 2 NG play. Maybe. Okay. And we'll see how your Amparilla does, or your Centurion does, I guess. I think I just like slam this down? Question mark? Like, let's say they put on a ton of pressure with, like, Gauss Cannon, Pixie. Actually, that would be a problem for me. Because I wouldn't be able to get the Ampo. So, we can just play it cool, get a Forge here. And get a Lance Tooth or something, if they build a wall. Or maybe just get a wall of my own, and then that second Animus. I'm gonna get a Splitter and an Animus, I think. Because this can kill an NG whenever it wants, so there's not much point. Well, I don't know. Is the Animus even that great? I mean, I guess if I don't get it now, I'm basically just building Tarsiers forever, which is not the way to play this set, let me tell you. And this Engineer sucks, right? No, it means I can't spend my blue next turn. Assuming that they build the Centurion, but it means I don't have to build any defense. I can just hold back the Splitter, build Amparilla, and then after that I can switch to Blood Pacts. I somehow miscounted the attack they would have and I didn't need an Engineer this turn? Yeah, what am I even thinking? Ugh, that was a mistake. I could have gotten a free Pixie. Well, not free. Would have cost $1, of course, but... I guess they buy a Lance Tooth now, or what? But I have an Amparilla, and I think that that's better than having a Centurion, honestly. Blood Pact is, like, amazing. Ooh, especially if they have to hold the botches a turn early. Oh my goodness. That would be great. Yeah, I think you should click the botch. It means you lose a Rhino, but like, what can you do? Health matters a lot more to me than to you, so... We're not running low on blood packs yet. That would be a slight concern. Maybe I should be trying to build walls instead of packs and pixies. This is killing one attack, the Rhino. They're probably losing another, but I shouldn't count on that, obviously. Importantly, though, this defends. Although, like, wouldn't this be better? I love blood packs. Well, it lets me squeeze in that pixie. Like, I don't know, does the pixie matter all that much? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I should try not to give them more botches. I don't know. This adds one more damage and like one more defense. But I'm really worried about my packed supply, actually. This floats less tech, so it might be better, but like that's just an indicator. Like, there's nothing wrong with floating tech. Just like it suggests you might be missing out on a better play. I think I want to use my wall supply a little bit more, even though it means I'm missing out on this pixie. Oh, I love blood packs. Give me that health, please. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll attack with the botch while I can. Here they lose no attack. I'm a little worried, it must be said. How's their wall supply, out of curiosity? Not really relevant, they have 4 or 5 left. I didn't miss a chance to swing with the splitter, did I? No, they're holding back 2 botches that they... Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, if I had 3 less defense and they had 2 more attack, I'd be in trouble. here they lose 1 attack. Get that last Tarsier in there. I wish I could buy another Amparilla, but that's obviously out of the question. Okay, we got him. It's not out of the question at all. It's the best play in the world. That made me laugh. Yeah, so Amparilla, big deal. You can't just let your opponent get one, even if it gets you a Centurion. I mean, if Blood Pact and Pixie weren't in this set, I don't think I would have been in nearly as good shape. I probably would have lost. I wouldn't be able to defend. Like, their Centurion absorbs enough of the damage, and they have enough econ that they can hang on and still, like, apply a lot of attack to me. And Amparilla, with just, like, walls, doesn't have enough defense to stand up to that. But with Blood Pacts and Pixies to make use of the excess attack, it was quite achievable. Okay, let's just for fun. How would this have finished up? How much am I attacking for? Like, yeah, 33. Oh, I love this game. Can't even defend here, and they're really not attacking me at all. So there you go. Finish the Tarsiers and then buy your second Amparilla. That's the Amparilla advice from Amaloy. Okay, so how about, like, analyzing what happened here? Well, of course, the main feature is that, like, opponent went for Centurion and I went for Amparilla. So, yeah, I guess we already talked about the fact that this Engineer was a mistake. I think. Like, we talked about how Engineer here means I can't buy Pixie next turn. Fine. And the question is that actually wrong? Like, okay, I could float and then buy either Engie or Pixie next turn. That's probably better, since I don't need the Engie right now. And, like, yeah, floating blue sucks. And Pixie generally is, like, better than an Engineer, I think. Because it can, like, it can cancel out an enemy Engineer, but also, like, it allows you, like, pseudo exploits of, like, making your opponent use up more granularity than they otherwise would have to, I think. Like, if you have enough Pixies lying around, if enough of your attack is made up of Pixies, you can ensure that opponent is always losing maximum granularity every turn. So there's some ways in which my Pixie is better than enemy Engineer. And it costs half as much if the blue was going to get floated anyway. So, like, clearly, most of the time, you would prefer to build a Pixie than an Engineer, unless you very badly need the Engineer right away. And here I don't, right? I need a, you know, Engineers are fine, I'd like to have defense, but I don't need it right away, so you could say, well, missed a chance to build a Pixie, big mistake. But Amparilla, like, really warps your values, right? In this game, which of us cares more about health? And which of us cares more about attack? In many Prismata games, it's roughly symmetrical, right? You're both doing roughly the same thing, have similar attack numbers, similar econ numbers. 1 damage dealt by you is worth about as much as 1 defense built by you. But when one player has much larger economy, they tend to have access to a lot more defense, more soak. It's much cheaper, you know, for my opponent, who has 5 more drones. They can afford to build more Engineers than I can. And so Plus, they're absorbing for, like, 3 more than I am. So, to them, like, defense is not really worth all that much, which means that my attack is not worth all that much. But even more importantly, Amparilla, like, every tiny drop of defensive tempo that you have, if you can funnel that into, like, a Tarsier, which is, like, the best unit in the game when you have an Amparilla on the board. Right, like, Amparilla players do not suffer from, like, having too little attack. They suffer from having too little defense. And I've talked about this in some previous Amparilla games, so maybe I'm going over it in too much detail here, but, you know, roughly, I would say, an engineer, to me, is worth 2.5 times as much as an engineer for my opponent, maybe? Rough guess? Like, way, way better. And it only costs twice as much as a pixie. So, I think it actually turns out to have been correct to get this engineer, although it would have been better to wait a turn on it, because, like, I wasn't using it anyway. I guess you could argue that, like, getting the engineer is good because opponent might find some weird pressure play that isn't Centurion, but I think if they do that, they're just gonna lose, so don't worry about that. Assume they're building Centurion, in which case you can float the money and decide next turn. But so, like, here, for example, Blood Pact Pixie, getting the health a little bit cheaper than Wall made it so that I was floating 1 less tech in total, right? Like, I floated 1 red. Whereas if you consider that I had done the alternative option of, like, Wall, Tarsier, I float 2 red. You know, it's not, like, a strong indicator, but it suggests that, like, this might be a worse line. And I also, like, have granularity problems. They're going to attack me for 4 and I lose all my NGs. I guess that's not a big problem because I'm about to build Blood Pacts forever anyway. But anyway, I think it was, like, better, probably, to build these Blood Pacts. I don't know. Maybe this first one was a mistake, because, like, the pixies really don't matter. I was focused on them because I thought of them early as, like, hey, it means you won't have to float your blue. Which is true, but, like, buying them is just not very good value compared to saving the money to buy half of an engineer, I think, would actually be better. And, like, that would mean I could buy a Wall instead of a Blood Pact on some of these turns and give opponent a little bit less attack. As on this turn. Here, like, I don't know. What if I tried building a Wall instead? I could have gotten 1 more Tarsier. What did I actually get? God, I really hate that restart analysis always takes you back to the turn you were started analysis on. So we were looking at this turn. I still got a Tarsier. And a Pixie. I don't know. Anyway, like, Amparilla is pretty cool, and Centurion is also really good, but attack is better than defense, right? Like, generally. Now, Centurion's insane, and, like, a giant absorber is really good. But if you give your opponent too much room so that they get something that really scales drastically, like Amparilla is an amplifier to everything you do after you buy it. And if you can get one down with a reasonable number of Tarsiers, it's just explosive. It does a ton. A 4 Tarsier Amparilla is worse than a Centurion. I'm pretty sure of that. But it allows you to, if you can ever squeeze in more Tarsiers after that, then like they're insane. The Emperil's insane. And like saying that it's worse than Centurion is not like not an insult. Centurion's insane, and 4 Tarsier Emperilla is very good. But the main value of that first Emperilla is that it allows me to get more value out of the later Tarsiers. Right, like if I had to promise to stop building Tarsiers after my first Emperilla, I would clearly be losing here. I don't know, I'm just sort of like going on about stuff, who cares, right? I hope some of the things that I've said have been instructive and educational, but that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.